Cory, what gives?
Well, I mean, fundamentally, the phone's not as popular as earlier versions of Samsung phones have been, and so it's a problem for these guys because they really are dependent on volume more than any other company, I think, or than other companies in the phone business because their profits aren't as high, their profit margins aren't as high.
So then where do they go from here, considering that they seem to have a lot of product rollout versus Apple, which is much more selective? So how does that play into it?
Well, so there are many parts of Samsung, but I think that fundamentally, if you look at their operating profit margins, you see the problem there, right? So Apple at 28%, Samsung only 12% operating margin in the most recent quarter. And so, while they're trying to compete head-to-head with market share gains, they're using a commoditized product, right? They've got the same operating system as phones from HTC, phones from LG, and phones from others. And so when there's one phone that's got a slightly better, a leather cover or some little doohickey gadget, it can make a substantial shift in market share, and that's exactly what Samsung's been suffering from.
What segment of the market should we think of Samsung as competing in? Are they now more focused on going after the high-end Apple customer, or do they really have a chance of beating out the low-end competitors in mainland China, the Huawei's, the Xiaomi's of the world?
Well, I think Xiaomi actually is one of the more important companies because of its ability to unseat Samsung's dominance in that market. And you've seen that over the course of the last, call it 18 months in terms of market share in China.
Yeah, Samsung has now lost its position as the largest smartphone maker in.
And I think that's really where they've been hurt the most. And yet at the same time, Xiaomi's ability to expand beyond China, I don't think is questioned enough. I think that there are concerns about how much their patents are going to hold up when they get outside of China. They're trying to make some moves into India. They've opened up stores in the U.S., but they don't sell for their phones, which is their main product and the main source of their aspiring profits.
So is the fall of grace, if I can say that, from Samsung less about Apple and more about Samsung just misunderstanding their market or getting more a local competition?
Well, I think it really points to the problems with a business model where your product's substantially not different than other competitors' products because you're relying on that. They're relying on the R&D money spent by Google to create an Android operating system, but Google doesn't care if it's sold by Samsung or sold by HTC or sold by anyone else. And I think that that's why you see those margins compressed, because they're pushing so hard on the hardware side of things from a product that is not, again, substantially differentiated.
What do we know about Samsung leadership?
Well, the company also going through a big change there. And this is a very convoluted company with lots of different businesses in construction, businesses in insurance. And as a result, it takes the changes at the top are a big deal.
So what are we going to expect to see? I mean, profit falling 5 straight quarters. What are going to be some of the big changes we might see to stem this tide?
Well, the irony is that all of their expensive, overly produced events announcing new products have been sort of over the top in the past, but it actually raises the stakes for the future. Their Edge phone, which they announced for a good year and a half before they finally put it on the market, wasn't really that successful in the marketplace. And so they're going to have something in the marketplace that's going to give them another shot. But again, with the way the business is constructed, they're going to have some problems.